I'll do a partially scripted demo one sec, but it's live in the product, so at least the feature should work. One sec. Where am I? Here we are. So this is live now. We've shipped an impersonate. And just to show you, here's a dashboard real quick with some data that I've got access to as an admin on this instance, and then I've got my personal account here too that I'm going to impersonate. And this is useful for folks that are trying to debug permissions or debug user attributes and filters so that you can ensure that content and data is not actually is not displayed to folks that shouldn't have it, but also that folks that should have data should actually be able to get it too. And it basically, you can navigate to the user in the admin console and impersonate it directly. This is going to be for a demo to give it a reason to. And now you can see, I guess maybe just one at a high level too. I'm now impersonating this user, and I'm actually, everything I'm doing in the app is going to be filtered to this user. So, I see the content only that I can do, or I can take actions modeling that I can do too. Here's that previous dashboard I was on that actually this user doesn't have access to, and so we can go in and confirm this user doesn't have access to it. If I exit now this impersonate mode, come back to this dashboard too, I will basically retain the access. So we end up enforcing the permissions associated with it too. That's the quick pass.
It's gonna be massive for people. That's gonna make life so much easier.
And Jamie, that also picks up like user attributes and stuff too.
Exactly.
Right? So
It did. You saw those filtered to Allegro K. You could switch that to another user, and you would actually get a different brand in that table.
Yeah.
I saw this earlier, Jamie, and I was playing with it. I noticed you can't impersonate an admin. Can you explain the rationale there?
Well, we don't want, the very least to start, we didn't want someone to be able to impersonate someone that could also take actions that change levels of permissions for things too. So if I were to, impersonate you and then go ahead and give everybody access to it too, to an instance or something, it felt awkward or a potential gap. But and also sort of admins should in general have complete access to everything. We will have cascades of permissions that will get more complicated over time too. We'll definitely want to be able to impersonate sort of segments of access and segments of controls, but we sort of start with the less risky version.
And only admins can do the impersonate. Is that
and
right?
only admins can do the impersonation. That's right. And we do, I don't know if folks noticed too, but we do have a little modal where we ask for a reason to, and we do have a log. It's not yet displayed to users, but we do have a log of effectively when those impersonation actions happen. And then we've got some follow-on work we want to do too, so that effectively every action will be annotated with the person who's in fact actually doing the impersonation, as well as the user that the system is basically acting as also. So it'll be auditable at a high level.
So you can see like if a dashboard was changed, if it was done via the impersonate.
Exactly. You could see like, hey, this was the admin impersonating you, fixing this dashboard or something like that. But the primary use for it is really around debugging kind of permission access kind of controls. But it does, like, one of those permission access controls is behaviors. So like, for example, like promoting a field from a workbook model to a shared model. That may be something that we want to give individual users access to, but in order to test that, a user would have to go in, an admin may want to go in and do that and ensure that, oh, okay, this user actually can do this for this context, that sort of thing.
I maybe missed the log bit, but is that something that users can see now, or is that something that will be done?
So we are logging it now. We don't actually expose it to anyone yet, but we will build it. We need to build actually just kind of holistically a auditable log for kind of all actions and stuff too. There definitely will be demand for that.
Yeah, for embedded, we could theoretically also eventually build out like a browser extension that could have like a UI where you could pick users and that type of thing even.
Definitely. The very first version of this, I put it was a URL parameter that would let you put in someone's email address. We ended up pulling that out. Chris very reasonably anything that if you copy and paste the URL and like you're doing kind of security action, maybe like potentially problematic too. You don't want it to be a surprise to the admin that gets the link that they're actually now impersonating somebody. But what I think what we'll probably do is have potentially a URL parameter to turn on that impersonation header and then allow an admin to select the specific user or log the reason why they're doing it. So like sort of facilitating the same workflow. So you can sort of go from user A, B, C, and I could try all of them on the same piece of content without having to go navigate through the admin console. But that's also a follow-on, but should be pretty straightforward.
But for like an embedded use case, that's incredible. Like we're going to be able to just debug a user immediately.
Definitely.